Alright, so we're going to try to put it in like this. Found a little configuration that kind of may work. So let's see if it comes in. Alright, we're going to back off of it just a bit. Yep, because we are flush with it now. If the inside of this was a little bit bigger, it would be about perfect. But it is just a hair too small. Well, I think that will work. See if I can get the snap ring on. And it does come with a new nut, snap ring, cotter pin, and zerk fitting. Perfect. There, that went in perfect actually. About the perfect height. I'm going to tap on it with a hammer and a punch just to make sure that it did seat down. Yep. Just wanted to be sure that it was in there, and she is in there. I'm going to go ahead and put all of this on. And these zerk fittings are a 7mm. They can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get started sometimes. Also, do not over tighten these. I was wrong, it's an 8mm, sorry. Yeah, it's an 8mm, not a 7. But like I was saying, do not over tighten these because you will break these off and they are not fun getting out. Alright. Now, time for the upper ball joint. Now, the upper ball joint will go down around this little cup right here. So we can use that. And we're going to use the smallest cup I have. And it should push it down pretty good. We got it set up. Now we're going to run her in. And you can hear that change right there. You know that it's seated down. Alright, got all these in, and it doesn't go all the way to the bottom on this one. It just goes flush on the top, so there's a little recessed area, and that's why it's going to be a little rusty underneath there. So I'm going to put grease on here, repack the bearings, clean them and everything on the rotor, and then whenever I get ready to put all this back together, I'll bring y'all back. Alright, so we're back underneath here. And I went ahead and put the zerk fittings in and put grease in the boots, and whatever comes out after I install everything, I'll clean up afterwards. So, and this is another reason I took this off, because I was trying to get this up in here by yourself with no help, and the rotor on there gets extremely heavy. I know I said that at the beginning, but this right here will make your life so much easier. Forgot my hammer. That'll do for now. But I'm going to just draw this up real quick. So we got it on, and I always like to put this in after I get the bottom started, just because it will help line up that top. So let me draw this down, and then whenever I get ready to torque this bottom one down and torque the cross shaft bolt, I'll bring y'all back. All right, got everything pretty much brought up, and it's just snugged down. So this lower ball joint torques to 83 to 112 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go to 110. Sure, and I'm using a 1 1/8 socket on that, and then this cross shaft bolt up here torques to, I'm looking at my paper right here. So this cross shaft bolt up here torques to 57 to 65 foot-pounds. So we're going to go to 60 foot-pounds on this one. And that is an 18 millimeter on that nut right there. Spindle, oh, I got it locked in. All right, that is torqued, and you can see she is a lot tighter now. Next step is to go ahead and put the dust shield on. And it can only go on one way. Just these 3 8 millimeter bolts. There's a torque, but I think these are like inch pounds. I think it's like 13 inch pounds or something like that. So basically 1 foot-pound. But you ain't got to torque them if you don't want to. I'm not going to torque them. Just make sure that they're snug is all I'm doing. Alright. Now I'm going to clean off my gloves. Make sure y'all still can see everything. Alright, so now I'm going to lube up the shaft right here, and we're going to go ahead and start putting the rotor back on. So, got a little bit of wheel bearing grease right here. Slather it on. There we go. Take this glove off. Grab our rotor. There we go. So my battery's about to die. Let me turn y'all off, go get a new battery, and then I'll bring y'all back and show y'all the rest of this. Got a fresh battery in there, and rub a little bit of grease up inside of the race. Get in there. washer on there. So what I'm doing here is setting preload on this. I'm just tightening it down and loosening it up. I'm going to spin it a little bit and just keep doing that back and forth. You don't want it where it's so tight that it doesn't spin, but you want it to spin just a little bit and then it stops. But you don't want any play in it either. That right there seems to be pretty good where I got it right there. And looks like the cotter pin hole will line up about perfect. Alright. We have grease inside of our cap. There we go. Now I'm going to move y'all again so I can put the brake caliper back on and put the tie rod back on. Okay, got the caliper started. I forgot to grab my Loctite so I can put it on the bolts. So let me grab the Loctite and put it on our bolts before we put them back in. I just put blue Loctite on these, like thread locker, whichever one you want to call it. Line up. There we go. And the torque spec on these is 166 foot-pounds. That's why they were so tight. Yeah, quite the torque, ain't it? Let me show y'all where you can see it a little bit. There we go. I still have to put a cotter pin in right here. I do have to tighten it up just a hair more just to get it to line up. There we go. Might help if I get the right size cotter pin. There we go. Now we're going to put the tie rod back on, and this torques to 57 to 75 foot-pounds. So we're going to torque this tie rod to 65 on this side because that's about midway of the torque range. Should be able to get a cotter pin in it at that location. Maybe. It's just a hair off. I'm gonna have to go a little bit more. There it is right there. We got everything back together. And it all rotates fine. So that is pretty much for putting a upper and lower ball joint in one of these right here. Like I said, just make sure you got everything torqued down right, and And you can do this several different ways. You can use your shop press, or you can use a ball joint press. You saw I used a ball joint press, and then I kind of had to tap the bottom one in just a little bit with a brass drift. But you can hammer out the old one as well. And if you got like cups and stuff, you could probably even hammer that bottom one in. But the upper one is actually a tighter fit in my opinion, especially on this one, than the lower ones are. And I think that's why they put the snap ring on the bottom and they don't put it on top. But if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll get to them as quick as I can. And if you like the video, hit all the buttons, the like, subscribe, notification bell, and y'all remember, torque this tight, and y'all have a great day.